how's it going? So I'm making a super quick video about, I kind of coined a term called passive dopamine. So when I talk to people, I'm talking about health in general, like healthy eating, exercise, sleeping, and they are like not a healthy person. What they do is they eat Snickers, they eat like Nutella, they eat junk food, they drink Coca-Cola, and they make fun of people that eat salads because they think that my life is somehow boring and their life is exciting. And I was trying to understand, like, how can I explain to them what they are missing? I tried different angles. I tried to explain to them, hey, you know, the amount of value that you're getting per second with a healthy body far supersedes anything, any dopamine or pleasure you can receive from an ice cream. And like one day I just woke up this week and I thought to myself, holy shit, passive dopamine, that's what they don't understand the concept of passive dopamine. One sec. Okay, so it's going to look something like this. So this is a healthy person and they get dopamine, let's say units of dopamine, let's say 100. This is just subjective measure, but I'm just for showing purposes. So every hour they get 100 units of dopamine just for breathing, just for doing absolutely nothing. An unhealthy person only receives 20 because their body is in bits. This guy can lie on a bed and be omega hyped and happy because I notice now I'm doing things like testing things like napping, staring at the wall. And the funny thing, I went to dentist a couple of weeks ago and I noticed that my ability to tolerate pain was significantly increased. So normally I have like a sensitive tooth. When the dentist touches this tooth while they do cleaning, I'm like, it's omega painful. But now, since I cleaned up my body, it's not that painful anymore. Right? And I thought to myself, why is that? Why did this happen? Why am I just like a little bit hyped over some dude just drilling my teeth? And I thought to myself, shit, it has to be something to do with my base dopamine being omega high. Because you have to remember, right now I have perfect BMI. My cardio is godlike. I changed my diet. It's absolutely, like, I don't think, there are few people on this planet Earth that have diet which is as good as mine. I have 41 different items. I'm talking cruciferous vegetables, lean like fish. I eat absolutely everything, a little bit of everything, small amounts, including fermented foods, nuts, seeds, whatever is A plus S tier grade. I 100% eat it every single day. And I have to say, it's God mode. It's just like, if somebody was to say, hey, I will give you a cheeseburger, but I will take away this power, I will say, no way, that's a mega bad trade. That's because of passive dopamine. So you see, what happens is, I stopped drinking coffee and tea because they stimulate. Well, I'll do maybe another video on this, but actually I'll do after this video I'll do another video on coffee and tea. Bottom line, the reason why I stopped is because it stimulates hunger, because my body is becoming so receptive to tweaks. Like, I can detect anomalies very, very quickly in the body, right? And I noticed that when you drink tea and coffee, your body's like, hey, there's food is coming, because there is substance inside coffee and tea, and it creates digestive enzymes, and your body is starting to get ready to digest food, and then there is no food coming, so your body triggers hunger, and then you start overeating, which is like, I noticed that it's not good. So I just, but the bottom line, I do not need tea and coffee to kind of to get hyped. Just breathing is good enough, which is like crazy. It's crazy that I did not think that this was possible. One of the things that I was jealous of there was a dude, he was doing, he's the founder of Renaissance Capital. And he's like elite mathematician, and I saw how hyped he was when he was talking about doing math problems. And I thought to myself, oh my god, he must be genetically gifted to be able to sit for the whole day and do math and be excited about it, right? But little did I know that his secret is just healthy body. If you have healthy body, just studying, you are completely fine. Because remember I was talking about dopamine boosters and stuff, but now my body is like transformed a little bit. I have to say, just sitting and reading stuff is like super hype, which is crazy, right? So you can get to the level, it's not genetics, it's basically just having very, very healthy body. And the reason why these guys don't understand it is because their body is in bits, so they have to supplement this deficit. You see, there is like colossal deficit. There's like 2,000 difference. This is why you see in their world is just not enough dopamine. Assume that this is what your body should be getting per day if you are healthy. And this is what your body is actually getting because you massacred your body, right? So what your body is saying, hey dude, I don't get enough dopamine, please give me some dopamine. And there's two ways you can do it. You can either start eating junk food and temporarily supplement it, but you have to remember it's going to spike to like, I don't know, 200 in here, 200 in here. Then, I don't know, you spike it again with some junk food. Do you understand? You have to spike it and spike it and spike it. There is no passive dopamine happening. You have to work for your dopamine by consuming shit all the time. Whereas guys like myself and other healthy people just sit there and they are having the time of their bleeding life. Right? This is why it's so powerful. So understand the concept of passive dopamine. It is omega overpowered. It's the same as passive income. The idea I got from is passive income. So when you buy assets, they simply generate money and you don't do anything and they just generate money. You're sleeping, they generate money. So this is the same process. You're just breathing and your dopamine is spiking. That's why this dude is like, he's like, yeah, a pint of Guinness and a pint of beer and whiskey and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, you don't need it. You know what I mean? It's just like, if you feel that you need it, your body is probably, because if I drink it, I will not enjoy it because of what it does to your body. It just like massacres your body. That alcohol is like, the idea that humans drink alcohol in today's world, given how much we know about this substance, is honestly laughable. It's so laughable that people still do it. It's like, it's so Stone Age in my opinion, right? Anyway, now you understand what passive dopamine is. You understand not to mess with it. You know how to. Now we're going to talk about how do you actually achieve passive dopamine. And it's very simple. In one word, it's a healthy body. So what do you need? You need good diet. Just go to ChatGPT and say, hey, what does a good diet look like? I'll show you my diet. Here it is. So this is chicken fillet. I have mixed herbs like walnut seeds. You see there's like so many items. And then that's the quantity. So you see I have 40 different items per day. Now you don't have to go that crazy. You need to only do like 30 per week. But I'm doing 40 per day because I'm a over optimizer, crazy person basically. And you can see that I put it all, this goes into a blender because I tried eating it one by one and it takes just way too long. Cooking it alone, you have to weight it all the time. So you have to buy weight scales and then you have to weight it all the time. That alone will take you like 40 minutes per meal. So I'm just saying that it's very time consuming, but it's worth it because of this. You'll be like, oh, but I would rather spend time having fun and then eating junk food, dude, your net dopamine is gonna be in absolutely dog shit. Because you have to remember, while you're doing this, you're like hyped already anyway, because you're just high because your body is so healthy, which is like crazy. You don't need anything external. Your body is just functioning and producing dopamine, and it's like it's honestly just borderline magical how it works. So I had this meal as well. I just introduced it recently. And you lose weight, believe it or not. You eat 3,000 calories on fruits and vegetables and you just lose weight. It's like crazy. But you get the idea. It's like stuff like kale, spinach, tomatoes, white cabbage, carrots, chicken breast slices, leeks, swede, red cabbage, walnuts. Mackerels should be in here somewhere. There's canned mackerels. Basically, go to ChatGPT and say, hey, what does a good diet look like? And then pick and choose whatever the hell you want. Make sure it's over 20, 30 per week, and then that's it. So this will take care of your diet. Next one is you need to have good BMI, which is your body mass index. So you need to have less than 25, less than or equal to 25 body mass index. Now, I'm a little bit over that right now because I build a bit of muscle mass. Now I finished building my muscle mass, so now I'm decreasing my weight. So I finished building my chest, so I'm now decreasing weight. So I'm gonna get to 25 or lower. But I mean, a little bit over is okay, but try to hover around this number, and then your body is gonna be in very, very good shape. Then you need fitness. This is very easy to do. Do aerobics. This is what I do. Yeah, so aerobics. You need to do at least 15 minutes per day. I do about, like, one sec. Yeah, so I do about 48.29 minutes per day. You do not need to go this far, it's just too crazy. Do 15 to 20. Well, you actually need to do about 23 minutes per day. It's like 5 hours per week. 5 hours per week. So divide that into 7 days. It works out about 23 minutes per day. And I do it at the 105, between 100 to 105 beats per minute of your heart rate. So you need to buy a heart rate monitor, and then off you go. Make sure your heart rate. Why I choose this? Because in here it's it's simple exercises. This way, every beat reminds my mind. Right? And it's very easy to control your heart rate with this type of exercises, because you can go up and down, because your heart rate is gonna jump up and down a lot. And there are some exercises like 30 minutes, they do like lunges, push-ups, jumps. The problem is the heart spikes too high, and then it becomes too tedious. You basically do not want to go too high with your heart rate, because if you go too high, you get into the cardio zone, and then you might stimulate hunger. You want to get to level of walking as close as possible. So you see, most of her exercises are like walking. You see, so it's like almost walking. If you want to do a little bit quicker, you can just move quicker. Or like, you see, she's kind of straight, you can kind of kneel a little bit lower, and then you have higher pressure on your muscles, so your heart rate spikes. So in here it's very, very easy to control your heart rate. So do that basically for 23 minutes per day. Diet, BMI, and next one is super important, which is sleep. So make sure you sleep 8 hours or more per day. Sleep is the biggest, most overpowered performance enhancement drug, well, not drug, activity that is available. Some people are like, yo, how can I get like bigger muscles, or how can I improve my performance, athletic performance? I'll give you some statistic. If you sleep deprive elite athletes or any athlete, right, their performance go down by 10 to 30% if you sleep deprive them. So if you are racing against a bunch of dudes who are sleep deprived and you are not, you have very high chance of decimating them. Why? Because sleep is simply too overpowered. There is a good saying about sleep. Sleep is nature's best attempt at immortality. It's that important. So do not mess with sleep. There is no drawback of sleeping well. Now, another thing I'll tell you is that coffee is very bad. Why? Because it messes the sleep. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're planning to work 6 hours. Well, let's say you're planning to study for, let's say, 2 hours, right? And you say, hey, I'm going to take coffee and I'm going to sleep for 4 hours. Which is better, 2 hours without coffee or 4 hours with coffee? 2 hours without coffee is better. Why? Because your memory retention is going to be greater without coffee. Because those 2 extra hours that you got with coffee are going to be basically countered, because coffee is going to disrupt your sleep. And if you don't sleep well, your memory will not be optimized. Because you have to remember, most of your memories, like memory hardwiring into your brain, happens while you're sleeping. It's not while you're studying, it happens when you're sleeping. There's a good saying that practice makes perfect. That's actually false. Practice with sleep makes perfect. Because if you just practice, you neglect sleep, you will not have good memory, you will not have good performance. I will give you, one sec. So I'll link it in the description below. This is all you need about sleep. Matthew Walker and Andrew Huberman, they've done a podcast. It's a little bit long, 12 hours, right? Probably somewhere around 18 hours. But this is by far the greatest value that you can get. Like if I were to say, I don't know, like YouTube, one of the greatest values from a podcast, I'd say this would be in my top 5 for sure. Because they are touching on a subject that is so overpowered and so important, and they are giving you answering every possible question that you might have. And they've done a lot of studies. They've done things like get people to memorize sequences. So sometimes it's cards. Then sleep deprive them. One group sleep deprived, one group is not deprived. See how they perform. And it's colossal difference. Colossal difference. They try to do, one group works more with coffee, another group does not work more with coffee. They just don't use coffee, work less. The team that sleeps better always wins. Always. There is no way to... Now the next question you're probably going to have, can I catch up on sleep? Does not work. Does not work. You can catch up on REM sleep, but if you're studying and learning, including physical learning, if you miss a night of sleep, you are doomed. You are doomed. You cannot afford... just watch the podcasts. Like, just watch the podcasts. It's like you're just gonna open your mind and you just understand that, holy smokes, at no point can I mess around with sleep, because it's like the most vital engine of your existence. And trust me, you're gonna live this, if you do sleep correctly, you're gonna live, like, I'm talking like 30, 40 years longer. Like, you will probably get to 100, assuming everything else is good in here. So do not mess with sleep. Get a CPAP machine, get melatonin. In my Triforce, I describe how to you see, sleep quality. Get a good mattress, get a good pillow. Do not mess with sleep. It's the most important thing. One of the most important things, right? Now, fitness and cardio becomes more important once you start getting like to 70 to 60. Cardio becomes very, very important because heart failure is #1 cause of death on the planet Earth. So once you're reaching like 60 plus, you have to start looking after your cardio. At that point, you need to make sure that your resting heart rate is like low and your VO2 max is high. If you have this, just go to AI, whichever one you want, Google, whatever the hell you want to use, and then research on what is resting heart rate, what is VO2 max, and how to train it. But that's, again, if you are below 55, you will get it from here automatically. If you're above 55, honestly, even if you are above 55, if you just do it, you'll probably get it anyway. But if you just follow all of this, you are going to be a god. Like, I'm talking about relative to what a person who does not do this, like does this stuff randomly, you are going to be a god. Just borderline, right? And stuff that is difficult will be super easy for you. And again, your passive dopamine is just so OP. It's like, I can't stress how absolutely obnoxiously overpowered this ability is. That once you get all of this thing, once you get all of these things in order, which is, again, Triforce, which is your sleep quality, food quality, and your BMI and cardio, which is your fitness, you just become like Nasus with 5,000 stacks at 10 minutes, basically. Like, there's just no way to... Nothing that opposition can do to stop you. You're just like a borderline god mode. Okay, so that's this. And I wanted to talk about as well about why I stopped drinking tea and coffee, but I already kind of talked about it, and that's because when you put... Like, water does not have substance in it, it's just liquid, right? But when you put something like coffee, something like tea inside your body starts to assume that there is food coming, so it starts to generate enzymes and digestive microbiome. And then when the food is not coming, it starts to be like, hey, give me some food, and that's how you start snacking. That's why I strongly discourage stuff like coffee, tea, monster drinks, fizzy drinks, whatever the hell you're drinking. Anything, like, if you want to drink it with food. Fine. I haven't tested it myself because I just said, screw it, it's not worth it, for me, because water is good enough for me. Again, why? Because I'm jacked up on my passive dopamine already. But if you want to drink it, do it with the meal. Without meal, drink water in between meals. Otherwise, you might trigger hunger. But I chatted to ChatGPT about it, and it said it's not always the case. So that's why I don't want to make a separate video on it, because it could be me problem. But I noticed that as soon as I quit coffee and tea, weight control became omega easy. Because, again, my diet is extremely crazy because I just eat so much fiber that my body never feels hungry. So you see, I only eat because I'm on a timer. I don't really need to eat, I just eat because I'm on a timer. And I'm still losing weight. I'm never hungry, always full of energy. And I eat because I have to, basically, not because I want to. Do you know what I mean? But I still look forward to it because it's very enjoyable. Another thing I would say, would also add in here is, do not put over-flavored stuff into your body. Now, when I'm talking about over-flavored, my favorite example is crisps. Now, crisps, what they're gonna do is they're gonna absolutely massacre your tongue. After that, you will lose ability to taste stuff like apple, carrots, kale, spinach, Brussels. They will taste like rubber to you because crisps are so over-flavored, your body will reset the dopamine. Baseline dopamine. So you need to kind of research a little bit how dopamine works. I made a video on it as well One sec. Yeah, so this video here, it's a 3-part series, but you'll understand how the dopamine engine works. The bottom line is that you have a baseline, which is this, and then if you start adding crisps, your body starts, if it's over flavored, your body will start decreasing your base. So you're gonna end up with this, which is not a good situation to be in. And then you're gonna start adding crisps to increase it back to here. Temporarily it will work, but then it will revert back to this, and then you're gonna be like this dude here, which is like, I want to cry when I look at the guys. Like in some dudes, like I just look at them, I just want to cry. Honestly, it's just they are just poor, you know. Like the concept would be poor because they are missing so much dopamine. Unless they get their high from their junk food, they just don't get any pleasure out of a day. Whereas guys like me can just sit and breathe, and we are just like jacked, you know. We're just like super happy and hyped. Just waking up is like, wow, dude, like I'm good to go. It's a crazy experience, honestly, crazy experience. I didn't think I would get like, I knew it's gonna be crazy good, but I didn't think it would be like this good. It's borderline overpowered. So again, if somebody's offering you crisps, McDonald's, cheeseburgers, ice creams, all this artificial bullshit, you say, no thank you, I'm high on my passive dopamine. And that's it. Alright? Take care, bye.